Goat has a lot of new seller changes coming to you and your business. We're going to dive into them in this video, as well as the side of being a buyer on Goat. So let's get right into it. What's up, guys? My name's Kane. If you don't know me, I run the largest reselling coaching program for seekers. So I'm going to give you guys my opinion on what I think these Goat changes are for, if they're good or bad. And yeah, let's just dive right into it. So a few days ago, Goat sent out an email titling, "Dear Alias Seller, at Alias, we are committed to creating the best and most convenient experience for our sellers." We'll see if that's the case here. Let's dive right into this email. So the first paragraph is just mumbo jumbo. It's Goat saying, hey, we're the good guys here. We're trying to help sellers make their experience better, blah, 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 blah. Don't listen to companies when they tell you something good and they say, we're trying to help you out, and then they list the things that they're changing, all right? This isn't good. I'm gonna dive into it, why I don't think it's good and why it's gonna affect you and your business. So starting June 3rd, or when these changes are gonna be coming, which is about 2 weeks from now at the time of this recording. So you still have time, until these changes happen, but just know on June 3rd, I believe this is going live internationally and globally. All right, they listed a few new features, which I think were already in Goat. They're just changing the order confirmation and then also like how you can list items. Again, all that stuff is already like on Alias, so I don't know what the changes really are, but hey, they said they're changing some stuff. All right, this is where we start getting into a big one. So order cancellations. If you confirm an order, meaning like you say, hey, I'm gonna ship it out, I got it, and then you don't fulfill on it or you mess it up, they're charging you a $10 fee, which is a lot, right? And it makes sense. Again, they want to try to turn down fake orders going through and people confirming an order and just wasting the buyer's time. So I guess this does make sense. And from what I read here, you're only going to get charged that fee if you actually confirm the order. So if you accidentally list a shoe, or you had a shoe listed that you forgot you had, or you already sold, I don't think it's a big deal. You can just cancel it before you confirm it, and you shouldn't get charged any fees. But if you do it the other way around, you're going to get charged $10. Side note, by the way, everything in this video is pretty much just ways to charge sellers more fees. So that's the first one. Second one, this one I'm actually really cool with. This makes sense to me. I don't know why they weren't doing this before, but if you ship out a replica item, right, a fake or whatever, you're going to get charged $15 per fake, which totally makes sense to me. I don't think people should be selling fakes at all in general. So yeah, I think that is it makes sense for them to charge $15. This is where Goat's changes start to get on my bad side here. So if during the verification process, you have an issue with your item, or it's not as described, Goat is going to charge you $10 if the buyer doesn't accept the discount that you give them. All right, the reason that's a really big deal is because I might have a shoe, like these that I have next to me, that I think is perfectly fine, right? I don't see anything wrong with this shoe at all. But maybe we look at the condition here and there's like a little bit of a glue stain on the toe box. Again, to me, that seems like a normal manufacturing error. There's some creasing here. Again, that's just the leather. But to an authenticator, they might describe that shoe as new with defects, right? And to me, it seems completely normal, right? And because of that, because of what the authenticator thinks, not me, because of what the authenticator thinks, I get charged $10. So we are putting a ton of power in these authenticators' hands, which they should have power, right? Because they're deciding whether shoes are fake or not. But the problem with this is this shoe's 100% legit. However, just because there might be a scuff here and there or a leather crease, the authenticator might deny it. And then because of that, you end up getting charged $10 as a seller, even though you did nothing wrong. Just one authenticator might think it's bad. Again, the reason why this is so bad is because one authenticator might think the shoe's completely fine, and then the next one might think it's, has that scuff or that crease, right? So it's so subjective. You never really know. And I don't like the idea of that, of, an authenticator deciding if my shoe's good or not. And the reason I say this is I've had tons of experience with this. What I mean by that is I'll ship out a shoe to Goat that I think the box is completely fine, right? I don't think there's any issues. But then when it gets there, they say it's damaged box. And there's just maybe a little crease on it. It's like, what the hell? I'm going to charge $10 for that? Another example would be what happens if you ship it and it gets damaged on over shipping. I understand that's not the buyer's responsibility and it's not Goat's responsibility, but why am I getting charged $10? I can lower the price on it, right? I will lower the price if the box gets damaged. That's understandable. But why would I get charged $10 for a shipping mistake that UPS made, right? That the shoe got damaged or the box got damaged. I'll lower the price on the shoe, sure. But charge me $10 and I have to lower the price on the shoe? It's just ridiculous. So these changes aren't good at all. It doesn't really affect the buyer either, right? Because the buyer doesn't get any benefit. It's not like the buyer gets paid the $10. Goat literally just keeps the fees. And they're gonna make a lot of money from this, I'm telling you guys, because every 100,000 fails they get, they just increase their literally their profit margin by $1 million right there. And they authenticate hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of shoes and hundreds of thousands of pairs of shoes every single probably month and every single year. All right, so this is pretty crazy. And then on top of that, if you sell a fake or something that's really bad and they can't consign it, you're gonna charge that $10 fee and a fee to ship it back to you. So you'll pay like $20, $25 just for Goat to take your shoe, waste your time, ship it back to you. Which is just crazy, all right? So I understand having to pay a shipping fee, right? Because someone has to pay it, but still, these $10 fees are really excessive, and it doesn't really help the buyer at all. And now let's look at it from the buyer standpoint too. Yeah, if I'm buying a shoe, like I just bought a shoe on Code a few days ago, I want to be able to get that shoe on time. I want it as described, you know, I want it as expected, because what if I'm getting it for someone's birthday and stuff like that, right? And Goat, of course, wants to have a really good buyer experience as well as a good selling experience, because they have to kind of weigh both sides. However, these fees literally don't affect any buyers at all. It doesn't help them. It doesn't save them money. It doesn't do anything like that, right? It just charges the sellers more money. It's kind of like a tax put in place by the government to discourage people from doing it because it gets so expensive, right? So because of that, they're kind of discouraging people from maybe listing a shoe that has a little bit of scuff on it or damage, right? Whatever, just because you never know. And to me, again, it's hard because this business has so many gray lines in it, right? It's all subjective to the authenticator. Now, this is the one that I definitely don't like. If you ship out a shoe, consign it, fail, whatever, after 60 days, you're gonna get charged $2 per month on that same item, which is crazy, all right? I have 100 pairs there. So you're telling me Goat's gonna charge me 200 bucks per month just to have my shoes there right now at Goat, right? And then, so that's 1,200 bucks a year. Actually, it's more than that, $2,400 a year that I'm gonna be paying just to have my shoes at Goat. 2,400 bucks that they're taking fees. That's not even the profit that I make. So again, that is a very, very high amount of fees that Goat would be taking. So now I don't even know if it makes sense to consign with Goat, in my opinion, unless you have very quick moving shoes. In my opinion, it would probably just be better to ship them stuff that you know it's going to sell instantly, or just keep it at home, because, you know, why take the risk on it making a few extra bucks? Because consignment, you only make an extra $5 to $10 really. So the $2, is that really worth it? I don't see it, right? And especially if it fails, you're gonna charge $10. Like, you end up losing money if you try to consign this stuff. So again, these changes are way too high. And again, they just don't really make sense. Now, I understand Goat has probably a ton of shoes at their warehouses that they don't want, which are like used shoes that just got consigned and no one has to pay a fee for it. They probably also have missing lid shoes that just no one's buying because they're consigned and they're just beat up, right? I understand that, right? And again, that's Goat's fault for having this policy to be able to ship stuff there, no matter the condition, and Goat just has to store it. And again, it's just so stupid that now, again, we have to deal with it. I'll give you as an example of how stupid Goat's policy was. You could take a shoe with literal like baseball gum stuck to it, you could have crap stuck to it, dog crap stuck to it, and you could ship it to Goat. It would fail, but they would still hold it, right? Which is ridiculous. They would still hold that shoe. They would still have it consigned. So just think about it, right? They had it in their system where it doesn't matter really what it is. You could still have the option to consign it, as long as it wasn't fake, and Goat would keep it, and they would have it, and you'd pay no fees. So I understand why they would need to charge fees, because it takes up space, and you know, space is money. But still, they kind of messed it up now, and then I think now it's going to start screwing sellers who have a bunch of shoes there that didn't expect these fees. And this is the really crazy part too. So this is the crazy kind of scary part of this email. Goat says the Goat Group has the authority to confiscate these shoes now if you are a suspended account on Goat. I don't know how to get suspended. I've never been suspended. I've never had any clients be suspended. So I'm guessing you just sell a bunch of fakes and you can be suspended. So they can take your shoes that way. Or if you're a inactive reseller. So I don't even know what that means either. If you haven't listed on Goat in so many days, you know what I mean? And I understand, like, okay, maybe someone passes away and they have 100 pairs of Goat. Who's going to take care of it? Goat, why is that Goat's responsibility? Right? So I understand there's scenarios like that, but okay, it's just very, like, what is the term of inactive seller or suspended account where they can just, you know, confiscate your shoes and take them? To me, it seems crazy, right? So if you don't ship it back in a certain amount of time, they're just going to take them. Again, those are the new rules with Goat. So think about it before you're selling on Goat. There's certain platforms like Poison that don't have this stuff. StockX does charge you fees, and that's the reason I kind of stopped selling on StockX, because they have a lot of these similar fees as Goat. This is the reason I like Goat over StockX and some of these other brands. But hey, stuff we got to deal with today in 2024. Now, how likely do I think these changes are going to stay? Very likely. These big companies, especially billion-dollar companies, when they make a big decision like this, they're going to stick with it for at least a year or two. All right, so for the near future, I don't see this changing, and maybe they get a bunch of backlash and it does change. But here's the thing, guys, these companies have so much power. They can make a change and then get a bunch of backlash from the sellers, but guess what? They know you and I still sit on there and we still make money from Goat, so they're going to keep doing these changes, and there's nothing you can really do about it, right? Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, all these big companies do the same thing because they can squeeze out the little guy because they have the power to do it, and you don't really have a big enough voice to complain. So that's just where we're at right now, and that's kind of what we have to deal with Goat. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to shoot me a DM. But check your email. If you guys were a seller, you should have got an email just like this. I posted on this video, hopefully, so you guys can see, you know, everything that they wrote. I try to edit it that way. But yeah, that's my opinion with the Goat situation. Let me know what you guys think down below, if it's good, bad. Again, I can see some positives. I can see a lot of negatives, right? But I don't know. To me, it just seems like sellers are getting charged more fees, which I don't like. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this. Caden out, and have a blessed one.